Hello everyone, Alan Posner from Virtuit Systems. I want to thank you for joining me in this video today. And today we're going to take an overview of the Virtuit Systems Backup as a Service solution. We're going to talk about what backup as a service is, why customers are interested in backup as a service, what are the benefits of deploying backup as a service, how can you incorporate a backup as a service solution into your environment, and what are the associated costs. So without further delay, let's get started. So first of all, what is backup as a service? So today, you might be doing backups and then copying them off to disk or to tape and manually taking those tapes or disk devices off-site. But in backup as a service, they are automatically transmitted over the internet from your production environment into our data center cloud. So rather than manually handling off-site data, instead every day your backup changes are replicated over the wire, over the internet, into our Virtuit cloud. There are a lot of benefits of backup as a service, but these are three I really like to focus on with customers. First is the convenience and safety. Once you set up the backup and replication, really there's very little manual intervention required whatsoever. All you need to do is make sure that every day your scheduled replications are happening and getting completed. In addition, you're much safer in an enterprise data center from Virtuit from natural disasters such as hurricanes or flooding than you might be from your on-site production environment. Plus, all of the backups are stored in encrypted fashion, which prevents the data from being hacked as well. Another big benefit is the ease of recovery. Because it's an enterprise data center and we're running a production cloud already, all of your backups are right there. If there's ever a need to do a restoration, you can restore those backup files right into the cloud infrastructure. So everything that you need to stand up your production environment is already there waiting to go. There's minimal complexity required to restore those services. All the infrastructure that you would normally need to build out is already there, which really leads us to affordability. There's no need for capital investments in servers, network, and storage to build out your own disaster recovery environment. You can leverage the cloud. So all of the infrastructure required in order to run all of your applications already exists. And if you need to declare a disaster, you can restore into that environment and start running out of that cloud. It's much less expensive than building it out yourself. And of course, it's less expensive than shipping and storage tape media into an offsite vault. So what are my backup as a service choices? And what will you need in order to take advantage of this service? Well, the first thing you need to think about is how much offsite storage do I need? If today you use 20 terabytes on premise to store all of your backups, you probably need 20 terabytes in the cloud as well. This is also an opportunity to think, everything I'm backing up locally, do I need all of it in the cloud? Maybe only some of it needs to get replicated to cloud. You can make that choice and reduce your cloud footprint if that's the right decision for you. You also need an internet connection. Now, after the first initial backup, all the other backups afterwards tend to be small. So you can get away with a network connection as small as 20 megabits per second. One thing that is important, though, is high availability. If getting your backups off site every day is critical for you and you have only one internet service provider, you might want to consider getting a second ISP and deploying a firewall and a highly available solution. That way, if one of your ISPs goes unavailable, it'll transparently fail over to the other ISP and you're still up and going. What about recovery strategies? Having your backup data offsite is great, but we're going to recommend a couple of other things. First, have a domain controller in the cloud. Anytime there's a recovery that needs to happen from a disaster, the first thing that has to be restored is that domain controller. It facilitates authentication, and it's really the center of supporting all of your other applications and functions. If that restore doesn't go smoothly, it can prevent you from getting the kind of recovery you want. So rather than be dependent on restoring your domain controller, have one running in the cloud, a domain controller replica. It's pretty inexpensive, and it's going to make recovery in the cloud much, much faster and easier. In addition, you're going to have a firewall solution, virtual or physical, and a VPN strategy. If your users can no longer connect to your production data center, you're going to want to have a firewall in the cloud and VPN clients on their PCs so that way they can access all their data and their applications when it's running in the cloud after you've recovered from a disaster. If you have customer-facing applications on the internet, you're going to want to have a range of public IPs as well. That range will enable you to have customer-facing applications available for your users and for your customers, so that way they can get back online, you can continue to conduct your business. So it's great to have the backups off-site, but at the same time, we like to develop an entire recovery strategy, which includes some of these other components. So how much does it cost? Well, the good news is all of these costs are fixed pricing. So if you know how much capacity you need, there's a per terabyte cost per month for that. The same is true for network. There's a fixed cost per month for managing and operating a domain controller in the cloud. And the same is true for firewall and VPN clients. So there's no mystery as to what kind of monthly recurring costs you're going to have to maintain a backup as a service solution. And you'll be able to see that if you grow your environment with either more terabytes of storage or more users, how would that change the cost of maintaining the backup as a service solution? It's a great way to be able to predict and manage the costs over time. Some other considerations you'll want to take in mind is, one, is backup as a service the best fit for your most important applications? We also have a disaster recovery as a service solution where we actually are failing over live production systems from your site into the cloud. There, the recovery time objective is very, very small compared to a backup as a service. If I have tier one applications that I can't stand any downtime at all, that's the kind of solution I might want to look for, in which case then I have a hybrid. Some of those tier one applications are running as disaster recovery as a service, the rest of my environment as backup as a service. So you'll want to consider, are there any applications that require that type of availability, as there is an additional cost. Customers also take this time, since they're looking at cloud anyway, to also consider, are there some file services or application services like to move to cloud? Maybe there are some things I'd like to move off of my prem, and once I get them in cloud, have them protected in cloud rather than actually shipping that data over the wire offsite. So how do I get started? Well, as I mentioned before, the first thing you need to think about is calculate how much storage you're going to need offsite. And from a firewall and VPN strategy, you'll want to figure out how many concurrent users will need access in a disaster. What applications are most critical? Will backup as a service meet all of my availability needs in a disaster? Now, if you don't have any experience with this, that's okay. We can provide you a demonstration and have a conversation around pricing and configurations and consider all of the parameters. That way we can customize a backup as a service solution that meets your needs. The best thing to do is contact us at sales@virtuitsystems.com or give us a call at 877-847-8848. Once again, this is Alan Posner from Virtuit Systems. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope I've answered your questions around backup as a service. I hope to hear from you really soon. Below the video, I'll leave some links where you can contact us and get more information about backup as a service from our website. But until next time, I hope all is well. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a great day. Thank you.